us in a word of prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to conduct the business of this school in this forum. Please guide us to make good decisions for our students, families, and communities. In your name we pray.
Amen.
And are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
Nope.
Board, I need a motion for our agenda today.
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Got our motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We have our minutes from our last meeting. I need a motion on those as well.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Got our motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Time for our public comments for agenda items. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. They must be non-personnel in nature. Do we have any public comments? Board comments? All right, recognitions.
All right. Well, this month we're excited to have students back in our buildings so that we can recognize students of the month. So we will start with Northwestern Elementary. If Mr. Gish is out there, would like to present this month, we have Emerson Barnes in 5th grade.
Emmy, would you join us, please?
Come on over here, Emmy.
Now, don't be nervous, Emmy. No reason to be nervous. Now, Miss Grasso, she should be nervous. It's her first time in front of people as well. So, all right. So we have Emmy Barnes. Emmy, who'd you bring with you tonight?
My uncle and my sister.
Man, you have quite the entourage back there, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's wonderful. Well, I had the privilege of talking to Emmy today, and I've known Emmy a long time, but I had the opportunity to talk to her today, and she only answered one question incorrectly, and I'll get to that in just a minute. So I asked Emmy what her favorite part of school was, and she said hanging out with her friends, playing freeze tag at recess with her friends, being active with her friends. I said, what do you do outside of school? She said, I really like playing with my sisters. So I thought that was very kind as well. Favorite subject? Art. So she and I are going to have a battle of stick figures. And then I said, why do you think the teachers chose you? Like you had a 1.8% chance of earning this honor. And why do you think the teachers chose you? And she said, because I'm kind, I like to cheer people on, and I like to solve problems. I said, that's wonderful. So talking about problems, like what's one thing you would change about Northwestern Elementary? And she said, nothing. And then she hesitated and said, well, maybe the pizza at lunch. So I said, okay, well, we can change pizza. I don't have a problem with that. This is the question she struggled with a little bit. I said, who do you like better, Mrs. Myers or Mr. Gish? And she said, I like both of you. Well, that's the kind answer. So, Ms. Grasso, would you like to say something?
Yeah, absolutely. So every time Emerson comes into PE, hi, I'm the PE teacher at the elementary school, if you didn't know. Every time she comes into PE class, she puts her best foot forward. Not only that, but she is also encouraging her classmates, and she's showing great sportsmanship. What Mr. Gish said about her being kind is so true. She is absolutely one of the kindest students, and her peers also are motivated by her kindness and her sportsmanship. So she encourages others, and she encourages me, and I'm super proud of you, Emerson.
So, Emmy, on behalf of the school board, Ms. Grasso and myself, we would like to present this plaque to you as Student of the Month.
Congratulations.
Aw. Super cute. All right, next we have Howard Elementary in Paxton, Spain in 5th grade.
So we have Paxton with us tonight, and he has mom and dad here with him. And Pax and I have hung out a lot the last couple days, just talking about school and talking about like how far and how much growth I've seen of Paxton since I've been the principal at Howard. And I'm going to let Mrs. Clem talk a little more about that in a minute. But I did ask him some questions. And I asked him what he likes about school, and he said math and playing with the toys in Mrs. Clem's room, and then also that he loves Stella. So Stella is a dog that comes with me to school every day, and he kind of like takes care of her through the majority of the day when she can't be up in the office. That he likes playing with his friends too. But he doesn't like when he's playing with his friends and the toys and people make messes and don't clean them up. So that was his complaint, his one complaint about school. But outside of school, he loves to play Uno and go to the campground with his family. His favorite teacher is Mrs. Clem. I asked him if he was principal for his day, what would he do? And he said that he would make no homework. And then he would call people and watch videos on his computer in the office. But then I asked him, why he felt like he was student of the month, and he said that he listens to Mrs. Clem. He works hard, but he said he also tries to help out with other kids when and where he can. And that's definitely true. I had come to visit him today, and then a kiddo needed to like go down to the nurse, and so I took a kiddo to the nurse, and I came back in, and he was worried I lost the kid. so he definitely has become like a leader, and definitely looks after other kids, and definitely takes good care of Stella. So those are the reasons why I definitely think he's student of the month. But I don't know if Miss Clem has anything to add.
Of course I do, don't I? I've had Pax in the last 4 years. We've had our ups and downs, haven't we? And this little boy has made such a turnover these last year and a half. And he has been the star student. He is the one I go to. He is the big brother to all my little ones in my class. And he's always willing to help out and do anything for me, aren't you? So I'm super proud of this boy for where he's at right now.
Congratulations, buddy.
Next up, we have Northwestern Middle School's September Student of the Month, Levi Pickering in 8th grade.
All right. Hi, I'm James Fisher. I'm the middle school principal. Happy Patriots Day. Levi is our first student of the month of the school year, and I'm going to read a little bit to you of why he is the student of the month. Levi has earned student of the month for September because he constantly demonstrates kindness, respect, and an exceptional work ethic. His teachers describe him as a responsible young man who sets a positive example for others, both in and out of the classroom. He maintains outstanding grades, currently holds nothing less than an A+ in all of his classes, and his work is always completed with great effort and high ability. He's also a quiet leader who shows respect and good manners, while also excelling in group settings where he takes on leadership roles. Whether it's social studies, language arts, or science, Levi's diligence and love for learning shine through as he goes the extra mile in everything he does. His peers respect him, and his teachers admire his strong character, responsibility, and determination, qualities that make him truly deserving of this recognition. Pretty nice thing to say from your teachers. So who did you bring with you tonight, Levi?
My mom and my dad.
Your mom and your dad. So congratulations, mom and dad, as well. We're going to learn a little bit about you, and you get to speak a little bit, okay? You don't seem too excited about that, but I want to help you with it, okay? First of all, what do you want others to know about you?
I'm in marching band. I play the flute. It's my first year. There are like 5, 6. I don't know how many 8th graders there are.
Quite a bit.
A few.
Yeah. Anything else besides band? Any hobbies?
I like collecting vinyl records.
That's pretty cool. You sure you have a record player?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. Those kids don't even know what that is. I think Mr. Gish has one at home, maybe. But we'll see. Which teacher or staff members has inspired you so far in your journey?
Not this year, but last year and the year before, Mrs. Sparling.
Okay.
She's a great teacher and really nice. I had her in 6th grade, and then she moved up to 7th grade for social studies. But she's a really good teacher. And then Mr. Snyder, who's the band director, he's
Great. We'll make sure to tell them that. They'll like to hear that from you. What do you enjoy most about being here at Northwestern?
Northwestern. It's a really close community. People are like really nice to each other, and it's just in general a nice community.
I agree with you. Anything you would like to change if you were me for the day?
No, not really. Nothing that I can think of.
Okay. Anything you would not change? You just keep it the same.
Pretty much everything.
Okay. All right. So, who's a hero or somebody you look up to in life?
My mom. She's really hardworking and takes care of me and my dad.
Good answer. And how can we help prepare you for the future?
Well, in general, Northwestern has really good teachers and stuff. Really good teachers who help you who they help you learn the material, and they're really good at it, and they help you get what you need to know about the material.
I know it's really hard to answer this. Do you know what you want to do when you get older?
A physicist.
Nice. But we need to teach you more science, right? And math. And finally, we have some elementary school students here today. What's some words of wisdom you would give them for middle school?
Probably keep a planner and write down your work and do your work.
Okay. We actually have a new assignment button for that. Have you tried that yet?
Yes.
Okay. That works too. Well, Levi, guess what? It's over. You got it, right? All right. Congratulations.
Right, and last but not least, from Northwestern High School, Gabriella
Hi, Gabby.
Hetzner.
Gabby is Northwestern High School Student of the Month, and usually we have a process where kids are nominated by teachers and then voted on by their peers and some other adults. But at the end of last year, I said there's not going to be a vote. It's got to be Gabby, because Gabby helps out in the office so much that we miss you first period. She would grab the telephone and do the pledge and hang it up for Mrs. Fillenworth. And if you know Mrs. Fillenworth, she does not like doing that. So it was huge help for her. Not just that, just her kindness, her willingness to show people where to go and what to do. And so I just kind of said, yeah, she's going to be our Student of the Month. So, there you go. You ready? Okay. Can you tell us who you brought with us?
My mom, my dad, my boyfriend, and my sister and my brother-in-law.
All right. They showed up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think has been your biggest challenge in high school so far?
Admittedly, I'm very bad at procrastinating. But, I mean, I always get it done. I get it done on time, and I have very, very good grades. So I think just my own fault has been my biggest weakness.
Okay. The homework, projects. Yep. Happens to everybody. Can you tell us a little bit about one experience at Northwestern that will stay with you forever?
It was really hard picking one experience because, I mean, I've been here so long, so I have so many. And also, like, just the school, it's really helped me, like, find new people, make new friends, and a lot of new memories. So I don't really have just one. It's just a lot, my whole.
All over. Yep. Awesome. Can you tell us a teacher that has had the biggest impact on you and why?
Say Miss Miller. She was my AP Lang teacher last year. I think I learned a lot more in her class than I feel like I really ever had, because she really made sure that we understood what she was teaching. And I felt like everyone really felt like we could talk to her about anything.
Yeah.
So.
Can you tell us a little bit about your plans for after high school?
I really want to go to Purdue for their veterinary and nursing program. I think it'll be really fun.
Place to go in Indiana for that. If you could give younger kids in this room one piece of advice for high school, what would it be?
Don't procrastinate.
I was going to do that.
Always make sure you're kind and always do your best no matter what. Even if you're having a really bad day, just keep going. You'll be okay.
That's fantastic. On behalf of the school board and Mrs. Brown, congratulations.
Congratulations to all of our students of the month.
Yeah, congratulations. This time, if you could meet Mr. Schoaf in the hall, he's going to get all the Student of the Month pictures. And then you're welcome to join us afterwards after your photo if you'd like. Thank you.
Great job, everybody. Good to see you, Mr. Barnes.
All by yourself?
Keep going. Yeah, superintendent's report.
All right. Well, it has been a busy month. We are in it to win it with fall sports and everything that goes along with the fall season. Couple of the things that I just wanted to outline and highlight. We are honored once again. Northwestern High School was named U.S. News and World Report Best High School for Indiana. So we're really proud of the high school for those accomplishments. There are a number of factors that go into that ranking, but we are excited and pleased to be on that list again and know just how great our staff and administrators are that make that happen. And then my last slide is not showing up on my iPad. Bear with and see if it will come back up again. If I can get out of presentation mode. Okay, well, that's what the slide's supposed to look like. And the other fun thing that I wanted to highlight, last weekend, the marching band started off their season with a bang. They participated in the Westfield Marching Band Invitational, and they, in our class, got first place overall and then secured awards for Best Visual, Best General Effect, and Best Percussion. So we're really proud of them. These are a few shots courtesy of Goad Sports Media of them in action. Their theme this year is pastime, baseball themed, which is really exciting. That leads into an advertisement for this weekend. Saturday, we will host the Northwestern Marching Band Invitational. We will have 25 bands performing on our field, which will bring about 2,500 students, 3,500 spectators, and this is a great opportunity for us to host a really nice event that is very competitive for the marching band program in Indiana. And we're excited. Yeah,
do you have what time that starts?
Yes, it starts at around 12 o'clock or when bands are going to get there. And I think the first performance is at 2. And it's by class. Northwestern will perform an exhibition at 9:20. And anyone who is interested is welcome to attend for free of charge. But it's a great fundraiser for our band as well. So we're excited to host one of the biggest marching band invitationals in the state. So thank you to all the hard work that Mr. Snyder and Mr. Rogers have put into making that happen, because there's a lot of coordination that has to happen. So we're excited for that. Outside of those fun student accomplishments, it's budget season, as we'll talk about later in the meeting. And I want to highlight Jeff and Camden's input and hard work in making that happen. We are looking ahead at some challenging times when it comes to the landscape of taxes and finance for schools. And so we are looking to the future and prepared to weather that storm. And so I appreciate that collaboration. And then also in terms of bargaining, really want to thank our Teachers Association and Scott I said it earlier, but it really is very easy to work with people who have the same goals, and it is not contentious at all. And so that's not the case in every district. And so I really appreciate their collaborative and respectful spirit. And they've been great to work with, Scott Troyer and Kurt Cutter. So we are very blessed. And so that is my update for the month.
We're ready to conduct our public hearing for the proposed 2026 budget. To you, Candace.
Oops. All right, we'll jump right in. By statute, we have to have both a bus replacement plan and capital projects plan that is presented and we hold a hearing on and then would be voted on with the budget. So as part of that, here's our bus replacement plan. This plan spans over 5 years. I know we've had a lot of conversation about what this looks like for us. So we're going to start by right now showing and planning on that bus replacement plan, buses being replaced over the next 5 years as normal. We do know, as Ms. Brown just said, there's definitely going to be some changes in the landscape with this, with some of the fiscal needs of the state and some things that are coming down the pipe that haven't quite been fully explained or rolled out. So we're going to start with this 5-year plan knowing that it may adjust. My recommendation for now, and I'll let Jeff talk a little bit too about the buses, but is that we do go ahead and purchase buses in the 25-26 cycle. And I believe that's an agenda item moving forward, and I'll let Jeff talk about kind of the urgency of the timeline of that. But the reason I'm proposing that is with some of the changes that are coming, we're going to see some drastic changes in our operations budget. This GO bond is going to actually give us a buyback of about $500,000 that we've already paid for our iPads. It's a reimbursement of funds already spent. So the budgets that you see and the cash flow that you see every month already has that money out. So when we close on this GO bond, that money is going to come back to us. My recommendation is that we take $200,000 of that reimbursement and we buy buses in this cycle, because that money may not be there in the future going forward. We may have to skip a year somewhere. So my recommendation would be that we go ahead and purchase these 26 buses. And that's reflected here on this plan, and I'll let Jeff kind of.
Yeah. We've talked about this before, but buying buses is completely different than it used to be 7 or 8 years ago. You know, back when I first started, I would have a presentation in the spring and we would have the bus by the summer. I mean, it was a 2 or 3 month turnaround. I can tell you right now, I look back, I made a recommendation at the September board meeting last year, and we still haven't received that bus. We don't expect it till spring of next year. So it's over a year that we're waiting on getting these buses. Unfortunately, the other piece is the way that these co-ops work is that they receive these state bids are on a cycle. Tomorrow is the end of the fall bid cycle. So the bid that took place in this basically spring to fall, that is ending tomorrow, which means that about for 3 or 4 weeks, there won't be any new bus prices, and they'll come out with a new bid cycle at that time. Every indication, which has happened the last several years, is we're probably talking at least $5,000 to $6,000 per bus additional after tomorrow. So it's a tight timeline. I understand that, but I'm trying to maximize getting in on this bid cycle, knowing that we're not even probably going to receive these buses for over a year. And that's when we pay for them, is when we receive them. So
yeah, those encumbrances, a lot of those encumbrances you see on our monthly cash flow in operations, a lot of that is back to buses. So my recommendation would be we move ahead We approved this plan. It doesn't impact anything moving forward. I know we have 26. I mean, that's just how the state makes us list it out. We'll do this again next year, and if we decide to skip buses, then that would be reflected in that plan. Are there any questions on the bus?
I was going to ask Jeff, mini buses, are the plans to add to or replace mini buses?
Yep, so those are all part of the plan. I think the next one is actually there in 2030. I believe one of those is a mini bus, 37, so that would be the next year. We actually, for the first time, we now have 3 functional mini buses. We've always had 2 in the past, with one that was like storage equipment bus. Yeah, so we currently do now have 3 mini buses that we are using regularly to transport.
And they'll last out to 2030, I think.
Yeah. The nice thing about them is we don't put a ton of miles on those. You compare an activity bus mileage versus a special needs bus that's the same exact size, just a different color. You're talking ridiculous number more miles on those. So
because of the daytime use.
Yes, all day, every day.
And remember, the state says every 12 years to replace a bus. So once we buy those buses are in rotation 12 years unless you can, let them know otherwise it needs to be replaced for earlier than that. So if they're in operation for more than 12 years, then that changes the inspections and all that kind of stuff. So there are some things that play into that. So Jeff and I would both like to keep our buses as current as possible and go ahead with that purchase for this year. Capital projects. Again, this is just a state mandated, hearing that we have for this. These listed here, that does not mean we have to do these. They ask for a list of potential capital projects. I think most districts, including us, we pretty much have the same capital projects plan every year, just looking forward. So here's our listed capital projects for this year. A lot of roofs, a lot of sidewalks, which is pretty typical in most, because they do ask for anything that exceeds that $10,000 that you might do. Again, if you don't do it, there's nothing that happens. If you have an additional, the boiler breaks down and we got to buy a $60,000 boiler, it doesn't have to be added back here, but this is just kind of some planning and some things that you put out there for people to see. When you look at now getting into the actual budget piece, some good news. Net assessed value went up by about 3%. So that is excellent news for us. And as we planned the GO bonds and the projects moving forward, that was what we projected to see the NAV go up. So just about 929 million. Again, just a quick reminder, that is really what drives our tax rate. So for every penny of our tax rate, that's $92,950 that we receive in revenue. So the higher the AV, obviously the more money you get per penny in that tax rate. So great news for us that went up, and you'll see kind of the tax impact of that moving forward. Here's just a quick look, and I wanted to show this for a couple of reasons. One, you can see we've had about 30% growth in net assessed value over the last 10 years here. The last 2 have been very good to us, and then 22 was as well. The reason I wanted to make sure you saw this is going forward, you're going to see this graph start to trend the other way based off of some of the laws that are going in place for tax dollars and tax caps. We'll actually have Steve will come in and get way more in depth in this than what we have time to do today. But our net assessed value, this is probably the peak of it at this point. With the tax caps and things that are coming, you're going to start to see these trend back the other way. And that is not just Northwestern, that will be statewide. I know Ted's here virtually, but this is Ted's favorite slide every year. The circuit breakers. So as you can see, our circuit breakers started to drop after that pay 22 year. But again, the tax caps that they've put on for home values, the projected impact for us now almost triples from what it was last year to this year. So we're projected to see about $500,000 come out of our operations budget just in tax caps. That does not include what's going to happen next year when we start to lose some of that lit money. So this is just a circuit breaker tax cap impact on the 26 budget. These numbers come from the state. They project that out for you. So these numbers came directly from them, and they have been fairly close over the last few years. There's been a little variance, but I would anticipate we're going to be very, very close to this number. A quick overview at our whole budget. So kind of what we're advertising and estimated is all here. So our advertised budget for the education fund is about just a little bit over $15 million this year. And that includes budgeting for the new CBA and all the things that come down with that. That does build in a transfer again for education to operations. We have not done a transfer in 12 months. I will share with you that when we were on our S&P call for the bond rating, they asked about our transfers, and when we told them 0, I immediately got a text from Stiefel that says, "Is that an error?" And I said, "No, we've really transferred 0." And he said, "You may be the only district in the state of Indiana that has not done an education to operations transfer in a year." So I think that says a lot about our, kind of where we were fiscally, but that is not a maintainable path to be on, and you'll see why here shortly. But estimated revenue in the education fund is just under 15 million, so it is a bit of a deficit, but we have the cash balance to absorb that. We've talked about that for a while. You're going to see that deficit in both funds. That is why it's so important that we have the cash balance that we have, is to be able to weather some of these storms. The big jump for us is debt service. It's at 4.7 right now. We will probably, in all likelihood, need to revise the 1782 this year when it comes back for that. This is an estimate on what could happen on the bond sales. So until we sell those bonds and we have a payment term, we won't necessarily know. So we built this a little bit big on purpose so that we weren't short. Estimated revenue of 4.9. Again, there are statutory limits that allow you to carry 15% of your cash balance for all of your obligations and debt service. So the reason that your revenue is more than what the actual budget is because we're capturing that full 15% of all of our debts as well. You can be lower than that, but right now we do hold the full 15%. So if we talk about needing to adjust when the 1782 comes to get back to a different tax rate, that's where it will come from, is our debt service cash balance and our debt service rates. Operations budget, it's down about $500,000 from where it was last year, and that budget, understand, wraps in our cash balance as well. We appropriate our full cash balance here just so we don't have to come back and do a lot of additional appropriations and other things. Our tax levy this year is just over $5 million. Miscellaneous revenue just shy of 400,000. The transfer of 1.5 gets our total revenue to about 6.9, so just under $7 million. So again, you'll see about a $200,000 shortfall if that budget was maxed. I do not believe the budget will be maxed in operations. I think we'll be very close in education. I don't think operations, barring any major emergencies, I don't think we would max that out, but we definitely want to have the ability there. Rainy day, we do a $500,000 budget in rainy day every year. Again, that is just in case we have some type of catastrophic failure that we need to pull some money out of there for. There will be no additional revenue there this year. In the past, we've been receiving interest into those accounts. That now goes to operations to help fund it. Quick look at our tax rate. So we're advertising a $5.63 on our tax rate. Again, that is really tied back to debt service. I know when we looked at this GO bond, we had talked about a tax rate of $1.175. I do believe that is where we will end up, and so does Stiefel. But until that bond sale happens, we can't pin that down for sure. So again, that advertised tax rate gives us the ability to pull it back. We can't start small and make it bigger. So this is where we are, and then we will pull it back. Because the state kind of changed things with net assessed values. If you remember, the last 4 years, we've done 10% lower on our net assessed value. So it's made our tax rate look very high that we've advertised at the beginning. We are not reducing our net assessed value now. It's not needed anymore. So we'll build that in debt service, and we'll be able to pull that back if need be once we sell those bonds and find out what all of that looks like.
So how's that 1.175 compared to where we're at right now?
Yeah, so that is just about a 2.5 cent increase. So here's a comparison from 25 to 26. We will still, I am very confident saying we will still have the lowest tax rate in the county, and I would say we will be very close to being the lowest tax rate in the county by double digits. I think it'll be in that 10, 12, 13 cent range is where we will end up. So, and again, you know, all the pressure that is put on operations and all we talk about it, look at the operations tax rate. It actually went down because that net assessed value went up, and there's limits on how much we can raise in that fund. So the operations tax rate is down. Debt service is where that increase will be based off of the GO bond.
And then I'm assuming that if the Fed lowers the prime rate, that should help us a little bit on the bonds.
Yeah, and they couldn't really give me a great guess on what that bond rate would be yet until the Standard & Poor's ratings came back. So those came back great. We were an A++. So I'll get probably some heads up from them early next week. We're hoping to sell sometime next week or the following week, just depending on kind of how things fall. So we'll have a really good idea here pretty soon what that looks like.
And I'll make sure to include that in my updates for the board as well.
So our budget adoption will be on 10/9. What you'll see is you'll have the CPF and bus replacement resolutions for the budget itself, and then a couple things that we have in there every year that will be back is our resolution to transfer, our blanket appropriation resolution in case we need to change any of those, which in all likelihood we will because we'll see an additional appropriation in the education fund. And this one, actually, this year is probably bigger than any year before, is a resolution to modify the budget. So that will give Lindsay and I the ability to modify that budget based on where this GO bond comes back in. And we can do that through the 1782. Most of the time, that 1782, you have 10 days to respond, and it doesn't fall in line with board meetings pretty typically. So we would definitely notify you what that looks like. But this resolution gives us the authority then to sign that 1782 at the tax rate and get it sent back. And that is all I have. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Can you send this to us?
Yep, absolutely. Okay.
I think we're good. Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, we also need to accept any public comments or questions at this time. Are there any public comments or questions? Okay, we need a motion to close the budget hearing as is presented.
Make a motion to close the budget hearing.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. We're ready for our claims.
All right. This board meeting, we had 3 payrolls to review, and in your packet, you will see a voucher for approval of $992,356.38 in payroll and claims.
Okay, need a motion on the presented claims.
Make a motion, we approve payroll as presented.
I'll second.
Have any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We have more claims.
Okay. For accounts payable claims, there were 8 pages for your review in your packet, totaling $3,280,678.53 for your approval.
Okay, we need a motion. Presented AP claims.
I move we approve the AP claims as presented.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. CFO reports.
All right. In your packet, you have a number of reports. I always like to look at the appropriation report to give a snapshot of where we are encumbered funds throughout the year. And so in our education fund, at the end of July, this is for July, we have encumbered 65.85% of those funds. And in operations, we have encumbered just under 50%. So we are doing healthy. We are on track with everything that we have appropriated in our budget and feel confident in ending out the fiscal year strong.
Need a motion to approve the CFO report.
I move we approve the CFO reports as submitted.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Now go to our personnel consent.
Okay. There are a number of small changes. So in your list, consent, we have some resignations. One is from Mr. Gerhard, who was the vocal accompanist at the high school. He resigned actually at the end of last school year, and it is now on our agenda for this month. And then we had 2 instructional assistants, Danielle Ritchie and Monica Mossholder, who did not return at the beginning of the school year. And so we have put them on that resignation list. For new hires, we did hire Jennifer Wyant as a Howard Elementary Special Education Instructional Assistant, Megan O'Donnell at Northwestern Elementary as a temporary Special Education Instructional Assistant, and Bailey Kroll, pending her background check. She will be in the TOPS room at Howard Elementary School as a Special Education Instructional Assistant. You also see in your packet a recommendation for Scott Simmons, who, as you know, retired and has a wealth of institutional knowledge of our school district. And so he has been consulting with Erica Eckelbarger, who is now our Corporation Test Coordinator, and with Todd Miller and his team for technology. He's accumulated about 10 hours since June. And so I'm asking the board to reimburse him at a rate of $60 per hour for his time that he's put in with our staff. We do not anticipate this exceeding any more than 40 to 60 hours. That would be maximum, and I do not see it getting to that point. If we would go beyond 40 hours of reimbursement, then I would come back to the board for approval of that, but feel like that is an amount that would be appropriate for the knowledge that he's continuing to share with us as needed. We do have another item on the consent list, special education school adjustment. So there was an oversight. Hannah Hansen taught summer school, and she was originally supposed to teach summer school, and then she resigned at the last minute and was replaced with Hunter Clark. There was an oversight in that situation, and so we need to just have approval for Hunter Clark to be paid instead of Hannah Hansen, and so that is for your approval as well. And then a number of substitutes: Keisha Hickey, Amy Lovelace, Casey Groom, Elijah Gibson, and Mark Duncan for your approval. And then a number of ECA and coaching positions that are listed in your packet as well. And so I would ask for your consent approval on those items.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for the personnel items that were presented.
Make a motion to approve this consent list of personnel recommendations.
Second. Do you have any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Ready for our revised support staff salary schedules.
Okay. So this was Camden and Kristen and Jeff looked at this prior to Kristen's leaving, but there are a number of salary schedule increases for non-certified staff. I will say that includes instructional assistants, maintenance and custodial workers, substitute teachers, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, and any administrative support in the offices, such as nurses and secretaries. So in general, this includes a 3% increase for the majority of those staff members. We are giving our substitute teachers a significant bump in pay, just because we want to be an attractive school for those substitutes to work, because it's very difficult for us to secure subs that are of high quality. And so we feel like that is an amount that would honor that and get us the people that we need in our building. And so unless you have any questions, I would ask for your approval on those raises.
Yep, we need a motion.
I move we approve the revised support staff salary schedule as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Overnight trip requests.
All right. We have 2 out-of-state and or overnight field requests for your approval. The first one is from Mr. Williams for an AP Physics trip to go to Kings Island, where they will be studying the impact of roller coasters. Sounds like fun to me. They will are requesting to go to Ohio and spend the night in October 5th and 6th. And then you also have an FFA request. You actually have 2. One is for livestock skills, and that is at Benton Central. They're requesting to spend the night in Lafayette the night before. And then another one for a crops and forestry judging event at Purdue, again, spending the night in Lafayette. For your approval.
You need a motion for the presented trips.
Make a motion, we approve the overnight trip requests.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Only thing I would say is I really would request that when they write these up, they also plan for the chaperones. There's nothing mentioned whatsoever.
Sure.
Is it just those 2 FFA teachers? Is it just the AP Physics? Sure. We need to know, and I think for our liability, they need to put that in. What is happening with chaperones?
Sure, and the number of students who are going to be involved as well. That makes sense. I'll follow up with you on that tomorrow, Dan.
Thank you.
All right.
Any others? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. MOU, Indiana University.
Okay, so this is continuing a previously put in place MOU. This would just renew that MOU for another year, and this is specifically for high school students who are interested in pursuing a pathway in education. And so once students have completed that requisite initial course, this would allow Indiana University of Kokomo professors to come in and offer some dual credit classes for those students. And so those students would be offered a scholarship to take those classes, and the school would absorb a portion of that cost. But again, it would not be the full cost that it would normally be for a general IUK student. But this is a great opportunity for us to kind of grow our own teachers in high school, and we are asking the board for approval to continue this partnership with IUK.
All right, I need a motion for the presented MOU.
I move we approve the MOU as presented with IUK.
Second.
Any discussion?
How many people do we have?
That's a good question. I want to say we have 5 or 6. I'll have to follow up with Tim and Mulaney and see if that's accurate for this year.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Resolution in support of military families.
It's very fitting on Patriot Day and the anniversary of 9/11. This is a resolution for the board. The last one that was approved by the board was in 2020. So we have a number of schools in our district who would like to apply for Purple Star status, which means that they are a school that specifically and actively works to support the military in our community and military families of students in that school. And so as a part of that application process, we are asking the board to approve this resolution, which would go into their application for that status. And the state likes those resolutions to be 3 years younger, 3 years or younger. So we are asking that you would approve this resolution for the district in support of military families.
A motion for the resolution.
Make a motion, we approve the resolution. Second.
And our motion in 2 seconds. Any discussion? None, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Go to 4C SSP agreement.
Okay. So if you recall, in 2020, Northwestern engaged in a memorandum of understanding with 4-County Health. And basically, this was, first of all, it's statutorily required to have an agreement with a behavioral health or mental health care provider. And what the process is of that memorandum is that if administrators or staff had concerns, they could refer families for services through 4-County Health. And then 4-County works with families to go through an intake process. As a part of this MOU, the only families that would qualify for services are families that have Medicaid as their form of insurance. I also shared with you in a recent update that last year we lost the funding to have Hannah Mendenhall as a peer coach in our buildings because it was through a grant with Howard County Board of Health, and that grant was dissolved. So she's no longer in place, and there is a need for us to have some additional services. So this SSP, a student support program, would allow all students and all adult staff to have access to mental health care resources. Again, they would go through that intake process, but they would charge us on a per student per month basis. So it's 25 cents per student per month for 10 months. And for us, with our ADM, our enrollment, that would be $4,502.50, which we feel is a pretty nominal investment to have the resources that those staff members can provide for us. Once kids and adults have gone through that intake process with them, then they can receive services in our building regardless of their insurance carrier. So I am asking for the board to review that and approve.
Okay, we need a motion on the presented agreement.
I move we approve the agreement with 4-County as presented.
Second.
Our motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Into our 25-26 bus routes.
And that over to Mr. Layden.
So we presented to the board our 25-26 bus routes. Something we do every year. We obviously follow all the state rules and regulations in terms of routes. We do have some additional local policies. So kindergarten, first and second grade, we do pick those students up door side unless we have specific permission from a parent to allow us not to. An example of that would be in a neighborhood or a very untraveled area. Sometimes we ask permission to have the student cross the road, and as long as we have parent permission, we do that. We also require all kindergartners to have someone present when we drop them off in the afternoon. So that's a little bit about our 300 plus pages of bus routes. Does anyone have any specific questions about any of those?
You're not going to go through each one of them with us?
I would be more than happy to. I do actually want to say this, though. This is not an easy task. It is a challenge to route 1,100 kids, some of which don't know their address, their phone number, and even their name sometimes on the first day of school. And so I really want to take this opportunity to thank Matt Gray and Amber Collins. It is a very busy July for us when we do these bus routes. And we talked about it when school first started. That's obviously a very hectic time for transportation, but we really felt like this was a very smooth start to our school year. So I wanted to publicly recognize all of their hard work.
What's the average time, the longest time a child would stay on a bus?
We always shoot for under an hour. We don't have any kids that are on the bus over an hour. I would say average, like the longest time would be around 50 minutes, somewhere around there. But yeah, we're always, our goal is always under an hour, and we are definitely under that.
Anybody have anything else? Yeah, I think we're good. Good work.
Thanks, Jeff.
We need to approve those.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had anything else.
No, I don't. Well, I'd have something next time.
Oh, okay. You just didn't want to go back and
Yeah.
forth. Okay, gotcha. All right, I need a motion for the bus routes.
Make a motion to approve the 25-26 bus routes as recommended.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. There you go. Now you can do your bus recommendation.
All right, there we go. So we talked a little bit about this already, but you know, I am making a recommendation that we purchase 2 buses. That was on last year's bus replacement plan, would be on this year's bus replacement plan. We're basically going with the standard buses that we've purchased the last 5 years in terms of route buses. So these would be 2 route buses, 81 passengers with dash AC, pretty much the exact same specs we've used over the last few years. So my recommendation is that we move forward with the Thomas bid for $343,686 for 2 of those buses.
Okay, need a motion on the presented bus purchase recommendation.
I move we approve the 2026 bus purchase as presented.
I'll second.
Our motion second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you.
Jeff, how are you doing on substitute bus drivers?
Great question. So we do have 1 sub right now. We trained her last year. We thought we were going to have an open position, and that individual decided to not retire at that time. So we do have a sub right now. I will tell you, the things we've done the last few years and the things that you've allowed us to do in operations in terms of giving stipends to individuals that have their CDL that either work in maintenance or custodial or those types of things, that's been a huge help to us. We've got that built-in support net. So even if we don't have a lot of subs and we have a situation where on the first week of school, when everything was hectic, we had 3 drivers out on the, I think, first or second day of school, that we were able to cover that with those individuals. So it is certainly a challenge, but I think we've got a system in place that helps with that.
Awesome.
All right. At our ECA donations now.
Okay, we have a few donations this month to publicly recognize. For the high school and middle school, we want to thank Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. They donated $157 to our ag program. And then at Northwestern Elementary, we have some small donations, one from the Elfman family for $8.50 and another from Casey's General Store. And that comes through using loyalty points from customers to come back to the school corporation. And that was for $2.20. And we have already sent thank you notes to those individuals. We appreciate the support.
I need a motion for our donations.
Make a motion to accept the donations as presented.
Got our motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Then passes. Time for our public comments for non-agenda items. Do we have any public comments? Board comments?
Camden, one quick question related to the interest on our construction bonds. On that money, could give us an update on that? How are we on that?
So we're the Reader C. Okay. Long we we had like that I feel like it looks like we're still gaining some interest in those accounts, which we get to keep portions of. Investing that money has been a huge help in this project, and let me see if I can pull that exact. So we're at about 1.5 in interest out of the U.S. bank bonds as well. Now, it looks like we're going to have, part of, about 300,000 of that back looks like right now, but that's still, pretty good return on our investment for those. And we'll continue to call interest on that until it's totally expensed. And then in January, we'll meet with Ice Miller again and get another arbitrage calculation to be able to pay that out and then know exactly what we have left.
Awesome.
Good question. Any other board comments? I need a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
All right.